There are people out there completely disconnected from reality, thinking that the reason you have gamers who do not appreciate stuff like this is because of channels like mine. Like, normally gamers absolutely enjoy and savor censorship, but the troll comes out and puppeteers their mind. I'm basically influencing you. I'm telling you what to believe, right? It's not just the fact that gamers actually hate this, and I hate it as well, so I'm making videos of it, and people just resonate with the videos that I'm making. No. I'm the puppeteer. I can't convince you guys to subscribe to my channel, but whenever I make a video shitting on a major multi-million-dollar company, you guys just go along with it, right? Even though the multi-billion-dollar company has its own PR marketing team and they have all their social media experts, they pale in comparison with my authority. And I just want to show you, I'm not the only one who thinks this way. Like, look what people are saying. Why should you buy a censored version that is much more expensive than the unbeatable original? Not touching this D-Master, effing idiots, censored garbage as expected from Capcom, dead on arrival, welcome to 2024, these people make me vile, bile, and blood. It's a game, for Christ's sakes, get a fucking life, yes, I'm annoyed, lame, flop, unplayable. It goes on and on, right? Like, these are just the average people on the internet. I have no influence over them. I haven't even made the video yet. And if you go into the comment section, it's literally filled with this type of criticism. So like, the question is, why are people upset? Well, they're upset for two reasons. First one is the principle of it. Like, you have a game that came out and was done by people that were incredibly creative, and they worked their blood and sweat. They didn't rip off another intellectual property. They didn't rip off something else. They didn't make a remake. No, they were actually talented, and they created their own universe. They created their own lore, and it turns out that the market actually liked the game. Now, you guys want to profit off of that. And I know it's the same company, but it's different people. Like, chances are none of the original people that worked on this game are working on this, and if there are, there's probably very few, right? Like, it's just new faces, new individuals. So they're not capable of creating something, and what they're doing is, like, they're taking something already made, and they want to milk it for more cash, because they don't have the creativity required to make something new. Okay, fine. But what they're doing is they're insulting the original developers. They're saying, well, they're implying that the original developers maybe were sick in the head for trying to add erotica into their game. And this is constant. This is all across the board. This is like industry-wide, and it's not just in video games, it's in the entertainment industry as well. And the thing that really pisses me off is that I know there are right-wingers, I see them on Twitter all the fucking time, who are on board with this. Because they managed to convince themselves that anything remotely sexual in fiction causes the decline of birth rates. And I don't know, did the gender studies academics pay them to believe the horseshit? Like, is this, like, how did they come to this conclusion? I don't know, but, like, this is what they believe, right? So, like, if you see a titty in a comic book, if you see a titty in a video game, you just don't want to get a girlfriend and you don't want to have sex, right? And definitely you don't want to have a kid. But the problem is, like, while they're making this alliance with the left-leaning folk, they're not against sexuality. Like, they're not against fan service, they're not against erotica. They are very well with promoting fan service that's queer, with promoting fan service that is either for the G or the T or whatever. Like, they're perfectly fine with Abby from The Last of Us. Why? Because that sex scene is queer. They're perfectly fine with body type B type of women having sex in Baldur's Gate. Why? Because it's queer. They're perfectly fine with the hookup culture in Dragons in Baldur's Gate. And in Dragon Age, right? Like, they have homosexual sex there. They're cherishing that. They're promoting that. They're very on board with that. Bear sex in Baldur's Gate, again, they're perfectly fine with it, right? Flapping cocks in House of the Dragon, like on the big screen, you get to see a willy, that's fine. As I mentioned in The Boys, there's a scene where one superhero just shrinks himself, goes into another man's pee hole, that's fine. But what's not fine is anything heteronormative, anything that has to do with the 90s or the early 2000s culture, that's what they really despise. So if you have a game where a guy just is filled with toxic masculinity, right? He uses a chainsaw to decapitate zombies, and he uses sledgehammers in order to fight zombies. But he takes a picture of a woman's titties. That is too much. That is over the pale. That is disgusting, gross, and vile. And the right-wingers agree. It's just that the right-wingers think that they will expand this knowledge to the other games. No. Listen. It's just the heteronormative that's being targeted. All right? Now, the thing is, like, this was done for humor. Like, back in the day, this was funny. Like, the entire game is supposed to be a joke. You're a guy running around with a chainsaw fighting zombies. And the joke is that the guy is unable to control himself, so even when he takes pictures during the apocalypse, he still likes the titties. That is the joke, right? Like, that is the jokes that I grew up with Beavis and Butthead and South Park and Jackass, and it's part of that culture, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with it. But for some reason, the modern audience has gaslit itself into thinking that blood and gore and chainsaws are perfectly fine. Rick and Morty toilet humor is perfectly acceptable, but if you like any type of erotica in your fiction that's heteronormative, you're sick in the head. And this is the reason why so many people are upset, is because deep inside they understand the ideology, they understand what they're doing, and they just vehemently disagree with it. It's not about porn. I keep saying this. It's not about, like, pornography, because people know where to find it. And you get AI, which can even customize, like, whatever you're into. It's like, oh, you want, what is this, Dead Rising lewdness. You get it. You ask the AI, and it prints out, like, 1,000 pictures. Like, it's not this. It's the fact that they showed disrespect to the original creators. It's the fact that they're incapable of creating their own IPs. And it's the fact that they have their morality absolutely backwards, and people just don't agree with it. You cannot say that, oh, you're with Jesus, and you don't like anything erotic when you have a guy with a chainsaw going around. Like, I'm sorry, no, like, either none of this is fine or all of it is. And this is like what they're doing with The Witcher now. Like, they want to remake The Witcher, but they want to get rid of the sex trading card game from it. Like, there's even a version of it that's censored. They don't want that either, because, again, they gaslit themselves into thinking that men who talk about girls and they're like, oh, this girl is hot, they think that is bad, that is inherently deranged if you do that. Meanwhile, if you're a woman and you're talking about men, you're like, oh, I really like this football player, I like Messi. That's fine, right? There's even a video where a woman just goes on a football stadium and starts grabbing some of the asses from the athletes, and everyone is laughing and joking. Like, that's fine, right? It's the double standard. But anyway, right, so I just wanted to show that this is, like, channels like myself, which are criticizing this, are not disconnected from reality. If I'm not mistaken, Capcom actually released a poll, and they tried to find out what is the reasons people buy video games, and what exactly do they expect from video games. In the top 3 on the male category, aesthetics was there. So character design, aesthetics, and when they go out of their way in order to remove femininity from video games and make it body type B, or remove masculinity and stuff like that, they're just nerfing themselves. Like, if aesthetics don't matter, just make stick figurines then. Yeah, so no, all in all, like, this is a joke. Like, I'm sorry, if you think that there is something harmful with a guy taking snapshots of fictional characters, but you don't think it's harmful for him to use a chainsaw, then you're deranged. Like, if you legitimately think that if there's a female character, right, and taking a snapshot of her chest and cleavage is wrong, but taking a chainsaw over there is fine, you need to reevaluate your decisions. You need to reevaluate, like, what exactly do you stand for? What are video games harmful or not? Because if they're harmful, then we should ban them. If they're not harmful, leave them the fuck alone. Again, this is a game M for mature, right? Like, kids aren't allowed to play this. Just to by the way, because a lot of people, like, keep making the like, no, kids should not play this. It's too violent. It's too gory. I wouldn't allow my son, if he is like 12 years old, to play this game because it's too violent. Yeah, like, violence actually is bad for kids. Like, this is something that people don't even notice anymore, right? Like, Rick and Morty is fine. No, it's not. Do you know why violence is bad for kids? Because they can try to reproduce it. And I actually know cases of this. I know cases of this. Like when I was at law school, there was this kid who took a watermelon. He was at a high-rise apartment, was at 4th floor, took a watermelon and dropped it on a person that was underneath. Because he saw it in cartoons. And in cartoons, people got up from that and kept walking, and it was funny. In reality, it's not, right? Now they have a criminal record. So, like, yeah, like, violence is bad. I would say that this is even worse. But anyway, right, let me know what you guys think. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.